Hi, Jamie Davis here from the Nursing Show here at the ANIA conference in Philadelphia. I'm here with Dr. Cheryl Parker. We're going to be talking about cognitive workload. And I'm interested to find out a little bit about what that means for nurses, but we're also going to find out a little bit about Cheryl's background first. So, Dr. Parker, tell me a little bit about who you are.
Oh, well, thank you for inviting me to speak today. As you said, I've been a nurse now for, believe it or not, 38 years. I started with my associate degree in nursing and swore I'd never go back to school. Got my bachelor's and swore I'd never go back to school. Then I did my master's and figured I better quit swearing that. Finished my PhD about 10 years ago, right before I turned 50. So for those of us that are a little bit further along in our careers, you can still do it, and it's still been worthwhile. I switched into informatics about 18 years ago. I was an emergency department nurse up to that point, but figured I was going to get a little older, whether I wanted to or not, and that really wasn't a good place. I wanted some variety, and I really loved the concept, even 18 years ago, of what computers could do for healthcare and for nursing care and for our patients. So I switched over, and I've been there for about 18 years. I am on the board here at ANIA. I've been on the board for about a year now. I'm the secretary.
So tell us a little bit about what you mean by managing workload.
Okay, so cognitive workload. My day job, I do actually have a day job. I'm the Chief Nursing Informatics Officer for Patient Safe Solutions, which is a mobility product. And I've really, in the past year, started looking at the concept of the cognitive workload, or that mental workload that we have as nurses taking care of our patients every day. Doesn't make any difference what your specialty is, whether you're ER or home health or long-term care. There's all these things that you have to remember. You have to remember things from the EMR, whether their meds are due, what their last pain score was, even things like, I need to remember to call our daughter this afternoon at 3 o'clock. And I really started looking at it and saying, you know, the EMR really doesn't do much for us, because if you go up into any hospital right now, even though they've got an EMR, even a stage 7 hospital, go look at the nurses and they still got their pieces of paper, their paper brains. And I started asking myself, well, okay, why? Well, the reality is, unless we're standing in front of the computer, all reminders are no good. Because if I have a new order coming in, let's say I'm working on the med-surg floor, I don't know the new order's there until I go log back into a computer. And we're mobile. We don't stand in front of the computer. We don't sit in front of a computer as part of our job. I may do that now more in my role, but as a practicing RN, I'm out with my patients, as I should be. So all of that cognitive workload, those reminders that are supposed to help us, do us no good because they're locked into the computer. Does that kind of make sense?
It absolutely makes sense. And it also brings to mind, to me, all kinds of potential solutions to that, because we know we already get reminders about all kinds of things in our personal lives.
Exactly.
Why can't we have those professional reminders as well?
And that's kind of where my work started. So I started looking at some of the old research that was done, and I say old, in the 80s and 90s. Whoops. Nurses literally, during some of the observational studies that were done, can have to remember anywhere from 11 to 21 things at a given moment in time. I mean, try to remember 21 things and think about how we manage that in our daily lives. Most of the audience right now, if you're honest, your cell phone's not very far from you. You got a smartphone. Most of us do. And that smartphone tells me, I don't even know my brother's phone number.
You don't need to know your brother's phone number.
I don't need to. I pick it off the list with his photo and say, call JD. I don't know. I sometimes have trouble remembering my own address. I have to look. Think about I use Outlook. Mm-hmm. It reminds me, so-and-so's birthday's today. Don't forget, you've got a meeting at this time in this room. And oh, by the way, here's a map to those directions. What does the staff nurse have?
Nothing.
Not much.
She has that piece of paper that she has in her pocket with everything written on it, all the last vitals for every patient she has.
Because why? All that information and that data is locked into the system. And there's a whole lot of reminders that don't have anything to do with the EMR. Mm-hmm. Where do I put that reminder that says call Mrs. Jones's daughter at 3 o'clock? So this whole concept of mobility, smartphone-based technology in my role as CNIO for Patient Safe, I started looking at saying, okay, how do we take what we're doing even further? How do we help them? And my mind just kind of semi-exploded. Think about all the apps that we can put onto a cell phone. Interpretation apps, drug manuals, all these things that are there to support that cognitive workload. So that's really what I'm interested in going forward in the next couple years, is to research into that area and how, because I got that PhD side of me, but I like practical stuff. I want stuff that really helps us today, I'm not real theoretical.
Well, no, and practical research really, I think, is really true. One of the true values of nursing research is
Absolutely.
It is practical research.
It is very practical. So I'm really looking forward to working that on in that area in the next couple of years to see how technology really can support what we're doing cognitively and helping us do a better job, so we don't have to worry, oh my God, I got to remember this, I got to remember it, don't forget. That's a stress. We have enough stress in our life as nurses. Let's make it as stress-free as we can by using the technology for what the technology was designed to do. Let's bring nursing into maybe the 21st, what are we in now, the 21st century? Mm-hmm. Sometimes I forget. I gotta go look that up. Let's Google that. It's my standard answer in life. What's a mummer? Let's Google that. Because we can. But that's not something we do in our work life. We're literally told when we get to work, put that smartphone away, and by the way, here's your old voice over IP phone that is nothing but a phone. It rings. I think that you're going to see a lot of changes in that area now that we've got EMRs implemented. Let's work on optimizing the workflow around them, and let's look at using technology to really help the workload of nurses.
I think that's great, and I've long subscribed to a quote that was ascribed to Einstein when he said, "Never commit to memory something you can put down on paper." And now I use that to mean never commit to memory something I can put in my smartphone or my tablet.
Absolutely, because what is a computer good at? It's good at mundane things. We're not that good at mundane things. I don't know about your brain, but my brain tends to go all over the place sometimes. And I need that anchor to say, don't forget, in 15 minutes, you've got to be, okay, thank you, and off I go. I just see so much potential for going forward in the future and really using technology to help us do our work better and take care of our patients better, no matter what location we're in.
So that's a look at what's coming up perhaps in the future on cognitive workload for nurses. I'm Jamie Davis from The Nursing Show. Check out more segments from ANIA here in Philadelphia at The Nursing Show at NursingShow.com or on other channels as you see them around the web.